You got a lot of shit rattling around, a lot of pain rattling around inside that head, man. You carry too much weight on your shoulders. One of these days you're gonna fall apart, and a lot of good fucking people are gonna get hurt. You ought to stop worrying about everybody else's fucking problems and start fixing your own shit.
Well, The Fixer is the story of Vic Simmons, who's a private investigator who for many years now has been carrying around a lot of emotional baggage stemming from a tragedy that happened when he was a teenager. And it's gotten to a point in his life now where he buries himself so deeply in his work, helping out all these other people in these desperate personal situations while neglecting entirely his own personal problems. And the people that get the brunt of that sort of situation, that neglect, are the people that actually matter the most to Vic. And there are some people in his life, Jack Demarest, the ex-Franklin, a couple of people that do have a certain amount of care for the guy who are trying to nudge him in the right direction in their own certain ways. Jack being much more of a positive, emotional support type of guy, and ex-Franklin being a bit more of a down-to-earth type of friend who's going to be like, treat him like a man, treat him like a grown person, to try to have him make his own decisions and whatnot, but also trying to point out when things are a little fucked up in his life. And then there's Caroline, who's Vic's ex-love interest from a few years ago, who they did not part on good terms, and it's a very icy relationship now. But both of them both care very deeply for Katie Bishop, who becomes the big victim of the whole story. A guy named Luther Resnick, who's a real piece of scum and everything, who didn't come off as a piece of scum to begin with, wormed his way into her life and now becomes this very abusive, menacing ex-boyfriend, and it becomes a very serious issue of contention with Vic. Is like he feels completely responsible for this sort of thing happening, and the whole film is very much this emotional, character-centric story that Vic goes through in this very dark, gritty type of neo-noir type of landscape that is very heavily inspired by the works of Michael Mann. And while I was writing the script, I was watching a lot of Miami Vice, which completely influenced the whole soundtrack of the whole film. Well, a lot of Michael Mann stuff just got injected into the visual style of this film in so many ways. The color schemes are very inspired by Manhunter, which was used beautifully in that film. And there's just a lot of things that you can pick up and point out that were very heavily influenced and taken as a homage to Michael Mann's type of work, while trying to have me forge my own directing style, my own visual style, try to find my own identity while we were making the film. And after all this time with all this post-production stuff, try and get the right soundtrack, get the film edited to a way I feel is most well representative of where I am now, where RavensFilm Productions should be at this point. It'll be a nice juxtaposition to see where we were at that time and what I've been able to make of the film up to this point to what I'm able to jump off on and get to making at this point in time. And it's going to be a great experience once this film is released to see that sort of dynamic or whatnot. But where RavensFilm Productions has been and where it's going to be now, with a lot of different things that are being in development now and be released in the next year or so. So that's what I'm looking towards. That's what I'm very happy and proud about with The Fixer. And it's been a long experience, but hopefully it's coming to a very soon end with the inclusion of a final song into the soundtrack and a final cut to be spliced together and finalized shortly thereafter. So in the near future, you will see The Fixer released and on DVD and VOD, and I hope you like what you see once it is.